business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries. Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP This Morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Well, the federal government has announced that the first week of April is now Police Week, with the last day of the week. Well, April 7th designated as National Police Day. Vice President Kashim Shettima made this known on Monday during the first ever Nigerian Police Award and Commendation ceremony held in Abuja. Now, delivering the president's speech titled Courage Under Fire, a banquet for our police force, VP Shettima said at a time in Nigeria's history when the nation's security architecture is being stretched beyond elastic limits, the citizens have been able to endure in the face of security threats, as well as attack on their lives and livelihood due to the commitment of the police. He noted that since this administration assumed office in 2023, the president has initiated a wide range of reforms to revitalize the police force, including conducting more training and capacity building lectures for the men and women of the force. Shettima added that the president will ensure that police officers are equipped with the knowledge, skills, technology, values, and expertise required to tackle the complex challenges of modern policing, with this including acquiring fit-for-purpose equipment, weapons, ammunition, and armored carriers to provide cover and protection for officers in combat situations. These endeavors will be supported by situable measures to enhance the status of our officers and personnel during their service and after retirement. Well, joining us virtually is Dr. Dennis Amatri. He's a former DSS director and security consultant. I also don't know if, Mr. Chukuma is still with us, but then he's also joining us virtually. He's a journalist and a political affairs analyst. Well,
let's take the video.
Yes, in a quick seconds.
Let's take the video, and then we'll come back and talk to the gentlemen in this that have joined us.
Our idea of a modern police force goes beyond superficial changes like repainting office buildings and residences, or simply procuring firearms. Through reform of our security doctrine and its architecture necessitates recognizing the importance of administering justice and adhering to ethical values to foster stability and order in the nation. The transformation we seek must transcend mere policy and infrastructure. It requires a fundamental overhaul of our institutional mentality and memory. So far, we have embarked on a comprehensive program of reform to rejuvenate every aspect of our police force. There is an evident need to invest in training and capacity building to ensure that our police officers are equipped with the knowledge, skills, values, and expertise necessary.
All right. Okay. All right. Welcome back. Well, that was the Vice President saying so much as concerning the police week. Now, I'm going to come to you, Dr. Dennis. How significant is this new development by the presidency, and what message is it sending to the security operatives currently in Nigeria?
Thank you very much for having me. This is very, very heartwarming. In fact, I was so happy when I saw it. I thought that some kind of situation would lead to it, but the government came up on its own, and re-echoed this. We've been talking about this. Many security professionals have been talking about it. We've been talking about the restructuring of the police, the review of the Police Act, and suddenly the government comes out with this. That means that they've been planning for it, because what we need today, is about a serious review, and then, of course, turning the police into a modern policing system.
All right, let me come to Chukwuma Okoro now. Chukwuma, now we know that this is not the first time we're hearing some sort of introduction of a reform. There was a time the uniform was changed, but these reforms, as beautiful as they are, having a police day, it's fantastic. And they talk about introducing a holistic security architecture of the Nigerian police. Some have even talked about the addition of the name force, police force, as being, having its own negative impact. But the question now is, in all of this, how do you perceive this? How do you perceive the introduction of these reforms? Would it be holistic enough? Would it affect the individual, the capacity of the individual to carry out their duty without, having the stigma that we've been used to?
Okay, thank you, Moses. I think the declaration by the federal government that they want to reform the Nigeria police is a good step in the right direction. But according to Dr. Dennis, he said he thought that something would lead to this. I don't actually know what he was expecting that would lead to this, because every other thing that should have led to this has happened. Every other thing that should have led to this reform has already happened. So if it is coming now, it is not too early in the moment. This is something that should have happened way time in the past. But like I said, if it's happening now, it's a good thing to the extent that, look, the federal government is able to have the will to implement these declarations and reform the police force so that it will become a very strong institution within the nation's security architecture. It will become a very strong institution that takes care of the individuals, the policemen, the men and officers of the Nigerian police who have been reduced to nothing by the state itself. Have reduced to nothing. You see policemen who buy their own uniforms. They are not retrained. Some of them are very shabby. Discipline is not there, and that impacts negatively on the Nigerian security architecture. If we had a good policing system, most of the things, where we call in the military wouldn't have happened. The military, as a matter of fact, is supposed to be in the barracks and only called up, when we have a threat, to our boundaries, our border securities. But that doesn't happen. Why? Because the police force has been overwhelmed. Even in the midst of being overwhelmed, the government has not taken good care of them. So when they are making pronouncement, I expect that they will go beyond words to implement what they have said they will do. I want to see policemen have insurance policies that cover their lives when they die in the line of duty. I want to see a police barrack, that is retrofitted, that is rebuilt. The federal government should as well as bring out something like 30 billion naira or even more, to make sure that they rebuild police barracks. And not just rebuilding presidential lounges here and there, and building house for chief of staff, building house for vice president, buying yacht and doing all of that, while the police suffers. The internal security of this country is very important, and it's the responsibility of the police to handle that. So it's a good thing. Let's see how it goes, And what we need to do is to continuously interrogate these declarations and constantly remind the government that, look, this is what you said, and you have not been able. How far can we have a performance benchmark of how much you have gone in implementing the declarations you made? 7th of April is a good day. Unfortunately, it has passed, but we are now looking forward to 7th of April 2025 and see how, between now and then, how the federal government will have, gone with the reforms that they intend to do in the Nigerian police force.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Chukwuma. Now, I'm going to come to you, Dr. Dennis. The Vice President did mention the endurance of citizens in the face of security threats. Now, that simply means that the Vice President is very aware that insecurity is at an all-time high in Nigeria. Now, how would you interpret that statement? And what do you see as a role you believe the police force should play in ensuring citizens' safety and security? Before answering that, I don't know if you have any preview to how many policemen to a citizen or how many citizens to a policeman does Nigeria have, if it is that very okay enough for a country as big as Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, this review or reform is going to be all-embracing in the sense that we have to look at not only building of barracks or painting, just like the Vice President said. It's going to go beyond building of barracks or painting of barracks. And in fact, I would suggest that the policemen don't live in barracks any longer. The people that will stay in barracks are quick response teams, just like the SWAT teams, which will respond to very, very serious security situations. Those ones are going to be housed and kept to be always training, And then, of course, the withdrawal of the soldiers in our society, because the presence of the military in internal security is a misnomer, and we want the police to be trained to handle those jobs. Now, besides training, the United Nations have said about 400 citizens to one policeman. And of course, in Nigeria, well, the total police population is not up to 500,000. And then we have about more than 200 million Nigerians. So it begs the question that we should go ahead and recruit more policemen. We should have more policemen. And then, of course, right now we're not talking about state police, because if the government is going towards strengthening the federal police, that's fine. But restructuring can also be said to be in the area of restructuring to bring policemen close to the communities, where crime is committed. And then, of course, to cover the ungoverned spaces that we have across the country, because that's one of the major issues that we have right now. So if they are going to do this, and then, of course, increase the number of police so people can feel protected, and the police should be not like you earlier said, the Nigerian police force. That is the colonial mentality where the police actually was created to protect the colonial masters. Right from the Hausa Constabulary, where the police force in Nigeria started in Ikoyi, but we want a police that will protect and serve the citizens of Nigeria. And in that kind of situation, let them be available, well-trained in community relations,
Dr. Dennis,
to be, have the rapport
Dr. Dennis,
with the Nigerian public.
Dr. Dennis, it's good we're talking about training.
Yeah.
We know the sort of training that they've been exposed to. First off, how does that put them at par with their counterparts in other climes? The kind of training that they are exposed to in comparison to the training that some policemen in, for example, South Africa, or push it further to the UK, are exposed to. Are they getting? Are we going to see a situation whereby it will come to, it will be at par? That's one. Secondly, most of the introductions we are having now are institutional in nature. All right. Yes, we talk about training and retraining, but then we know that before we talk about recruiting, there are people that have been there. These people have been influenced by those they met in the system. How are we so sure that when others are introduced to the system, we will not have the same mindset filter down to those that are joining the police force? The mindset where, they are sent out to make revenue for those that are in-house. I mean, you have been a member of the DSS, so basically you are privy to how things are run. We do know, Nigerians know, that from the higher ranks, they send out policemen to get revenue. I mean, I've been in talks with some officers, and they say, yes, these monies we are taking, when we go back to the station, we share with those that are behind the desk or behind the counter. We share. It's, what measures would you want to see that will fix the mindset of police in Nigeria?
Thank you very much for that question. You see, we have to look at it very, very closely. Number one, you talk about, in fact, let me answer the last part, whereby we're talking of moral decadence in the police, bribery and corruption, and what are the root causes? What are the root causes of this? The root causes are simple. The police is ill-equipped, and then, of course, not well paid. And when they are not well paid and they have all this gamut of responsibilities, family responsibilities, go to police barracks and see what's going on, and the children. If you see the population of children below 7 years old in a police barracks, then you will know what they've been busy doing, So we want a situation where they will be well paid, and then, of course, well trained. That way, they could live like any other person. And like I suggested earlier, let them not live in a barracks.
Okay.
They should be. My next door neighbor here is a police officer. He's a police officer living with his children and wives, and live with everybody. So they know each other. They are not so hungry where they go around looking for how to make ends meet, because that's why the police, because of the payment system, that's why they are having this problem. So we should take care of that. Because when they say review, it's not like the president said, I keep on repeating, not painting barracks or building barracks and then, of course, allowing them to buy their uniform. You have to kit them to international standard. And then, of course, give them the equipment. And then majorly, coming to your first question, which is training. You have to train them in modern policing. Because many people, many policemen don't see the reason for policing. They see policing as an avenue for them to go and then work at the checkpoint and make some money to take care of their families. And that is not the idea. The idea is to learn how to serve and protect people.
Okay.
When you are protecting these people, of course, you will be well paid.
All right.
And then, of course, you live well.
All right. And now to Mr. Chukwuma Okoro. What Dr. Dennis said, he was of the opinion that to have less than 500,000 police men in Nigeria. And that bring me to my question this morning. Do you think the works of the vice president representing the president of Nigeria now, do you think these reforms put in place will actually encourage Nigerians to join the police force? Because we know that the last time that there were logos or information for police recruitment, some regions in Nigeria didn't even meet up. They didn't even come up for recruitment at all. Some were of the opinion that they've given up on Nigerian government and their empty promises. Do you think this will actually have any change? I was actually told that Mr. Chukwuma, we lost him to network glitches. So this question actually will back to you, Dr. Dennis Amakere. Dr.
Right,
Dennis, are you there?
We've lost connection with Chukwuma Okoro, and there was so much more questions to ask, really. Dr. Dennis Amakere, it's obvious that he had to jump in his robe to come speak to us because he's in diaspora right now. But anyway, we must say very big thank you to our virtual guests, Dr. Dennis Amakere, former DSS director and security consultant. We've also been speaking with Chukwuma Okoro, a journalist and a public affairs commentator. We thank you, gentlemen, for your views and thoughts on the program. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll go into the world of business. It'll be followed by entertainment and then sports. Stay with us.
From the views on the street